The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Thank you for joining us again here on FRC Media. It is Wednesday, and every Wednesday we take a few moments to speak with Mayor Paul Coogan of the City of Fall River. Mayor, how are you this week?
I'm doing okay, Keith. How about you?
I am doing well. Let's start with what happened last night. The City Council last night rejected a proposal that you forwarded to take the interim tag off of Police Chief Kelly Furtado. There's been a lot happening in the police department for some time. Recently, the announcement, since we last talked actually, was the firing of former Chief Paul Coogan. That was part of the conversation last night. Let me just get first your reaction to the council's move, and I guess what will happen next.
We're working on what will happen next. I can tell you that right now. I'm not sure, but I stayed for the whole meeting, which I usually am long gone by 10 o'clock at night when it wrapped up. I should say the part with Kelly, but I was just disappointed. I think she's done a great job for us. I think she laid out what she'd done in a memo she had sent to all the counselors. And I think what happened last night was it turned into an investigation about an investigation. Whatever happens with Chief Coogan, he's on a different path now. That agenda item was to approve or disapprove the contract for Kelly Furtado, and it seemed like to me that most of the night it was talking about the former chief or what happened during the investigation. That wasn't even on the agenda, or I would have made sure Attorney Rumsey was there, or even if we could bring someone down that helped with the investigation. It just seemed like we went on a different path, and it never focused on what that meeting was about.
Yeah. It seemed like, and we've had this discussion before, obviously during your tenure, you've had 4 chiefs work under you since 2020 when you first took office. There's some concerns by councils and those in the community about, instability within the police department. Now, are those valid? And obviously with the news this past weekend of another Florida police officer who was arrested in Boston for some crimes up there. Is that an issue that is valid, and maybe there should be a step back in this process?
Yeah, I look at it. I mean, there have been 4 chiefs. If you remember, the first chief left under a Channel 12 TV investigation about being out during the workday at a bar. I don't know what Paul Coogan has to do with that. Jeff Cardoza left for health reasons. I have no idea what I have to do with that. And obviously, Chief Coogan had an investigation done about him, and with allegations of guns in the locker and a knife and this and that. And I know nothing about that. I mean, they said that those weapons had been there for like 10, 15 years. I hired him with those there. I thought Paul would be the chief for a decade, but it kind of went sideways for him. Regretful. I don't want to be involved in this kind of fights. I thought Chief Coogan would still be there. It just didn't work out for him. I don't know what I can say about it. I think going forward, I think Chief Furtado would have done a great job. I think that the policies and programs she's already put in are making a world of difference there. Exhibited by how many guys sat there for the 2 or 3 hours last night to see what happened to their chief. I just think the city, if it's looking for stability, I do not believe that last night was helping that.
Yeah. Let me just ask you a final question on this topic. Is there a possibility that Chief Furtado can be reappointed on an interim basis? The city council, I believe, has a special meeting next Monday, which, if this is allowed, could come up.
Yeah. We're looking at everything possible we can. I think that's obviously one of the options. We're looking at other policies and programs from the state to see what we can do. And again, we'll work something out. I'm not keen to put the police department in that much upheaval right now, because actually those guys are doing a good job, and they've come around, and I'm really happy with the overall direction of the force right now.
All right.
As far as,
Shifting
I want to
gears.
make one more comment.
Yeah,
One of
sure.
the gentlemen that was arrested in Boston, he worked as a policeman. But if the allegations are true, he's just a criminal in a police costume. We hear that about, oh, I fired this policeman. One of them, who again was, I think, a former student, was beating up his wife while he was on duty. I think when you see people like that, they may have on a police uniform, but they're really not policemen. Those are just criminals that got into a force. And I think that that's what people have to acknowledge. Policemen are there to help people. Policemen are there to keep people safe. I mean, a guy trying to online, if it's true and that the allegations hold out, give drugs and go on a date with a 15-year-old girl. I mean, I don't know too many police that are doing that, or beating up their wife while they leave work to go do that. I don't know. I don't know of anybody that would ever hire a policeman that would ever fit that way. These are just criminals that have a way of getting into the force.
Yeah. All right. Shifting gears now to the school department. Earlier this week, there was a cyber attack at the Fall River Public Schools. It is pretty much shut down the internet and email for all schools and departments for the week. The superintendent, Tracy Curley, has said that as of this moment, there doesn't appear that there was any personal information released, although the investigation continues. Do you have any update and shedding light about what happened?
No, we are supporting the schools. They're sending people down to Government Center to work on some of their computer work in our building. It doesn't look like anything's going to change till Friday. They have not really gotten a notice, other than the fact that they are holding the system ransom right now, and they haven't made a request or anything. Obviously, they have a bunch of different law enforcement organizations involved in this, and obviously our own in-house crew, and we're talking to experts. So we'll see how it plays out, but they're doing their best they can to see if they can, fight their way out the other side of this. This happens all over the country. It's just, I've recently been fighting with my wife's Facebook page got hacked, and there were people sending money to these crooks. So again, they're experts at it. Our experts chase them, and hopefully we catch up.
Yeah. All right. And finally, this week, as we know, last night, a part of that long meeting with the city council actually began with a budget meeting, if you will, between the school department, school committee, city council, and yourself to go over initial plans for FY 2026. One of the items that will be an increase to the city this year is an increase in the construction costs of the new Diman Regional Vocational Technical High School. You have been aware of this. Obviously, the city has been aware of it for some time. But for this year to next year, the increase is going to go upwards of over $3.8 million more next year than this year. What's the city doing to prepare for all of this?
Well, obviously, I think we're going to put together a stabilization fund for Diman to try to set some money aside. So if we hit some lean years, right now that money's going to be in our budget. We've known this was coming for a while. Obviously, a few years ago, we tried to get a vote of the council, but they went in another direction, as is their right. And we have to find a way to pay for that school, because obviously 76% of the students there are Fall River kids. So we have our responsibilities are to make sure we give them a top flight building to go to school in, and we're going to do our best to fund it. I think we'll be okay for a few years, but we'll see what happens down the road.
And obviously, you had mentioned in your State of the City address, and it was also brought up last night, that even though you don't want to use rainy day funds, if you will, for the city, you've been able to build up that account from a very low point to now it's well over $20 million. Any opportunity to use that if needed?
That would be obviously the last fallback position if we really, if we really have a shortfall somewhere, and the way the federal government's going right now, you don't know what's going to happen. So if things really go sideways, we may have to go to the rainy day fund, which is what it's there for regular city expenses. As long as anything else is just, you try to build up a reserve. They recommend 10% of your budget, and you do the best you can. But it's for items like this.
Yeah. All right, Mayor Coogan, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Thanks, Keith.
All right, and thank you for joining us in FRC Media. Have a great week.